Once we have added our sessions for an activity, we can add a register to record who attended each session. There are a few ways to navigate to our sessions. Firstly, from the home page, we have access to the Current Sessions section. Here, we can view sessions that have taken place in the last 4 weeks, as well as upcoming sessions from the next 4 weeks. This section will display sessions from all projects that you have access to. For example, I can see sessions from both my Reducing Reoffending project as well as my Sport project. Alternatively, we can navigate to our sessions by going to the relevant project. From here, we can either select our list of activities and then view the sessions for a specific activity, or we can click directly on the List button to take us to a list of all of our sessions. On the session list, by default, we will see a list of sessions that have taken place in the last 12 months. We can choose instead to look at future sessions or all sessions if we need to submit a register from a different time period. We can also filter the sessions list on the right-hand side to only display the sessions that we're interested in, such as filtering by a certain activity, or view the sessions for which you are the session registrar. For example, I might want to complete my registers for my basketball sessions. To complete a single register, we first find the relevant session and click on Add Register. If there are already sessions submitted within the project, we will have a choice to start with an empty register or copy attendees across from an existing register. Let's start with completing an empty register. We then click on Go and are taken to the register page. Here we can type in the names of our attendees into the Add Existing Attendee box. We can then click on the name of the attendee and they'll be added to the register. If the attendee we want to add hasn't yet been created on the system, we can use the Create a New Attendee button to add an attendee at this stage. There are then a variety of columns we can use to add optional extra detail about the attendees for this particular session. For example, we can give our attendees different attendee types, such as giving a coach or a member of our delivery staff the role of a session leader. We can also specify how much of the session each individual attended. There is then space to record ratings, payment amounts, and whether our attendees volunteered at the session, as well as their volunteering hours. Each attendee also has a space to add a note, which can be then saved here to be reviewed within the session or on the individual session report. You can choose as an organization whether these additional fields are relevant and useful for you and are optional to complete. Once we have finished adding our data, we can save or submit the session. Saving the session will create a draft of the register which doesn't yet count towards your statistics. Once submitted, the data from the register will now be used within your statistics. However, there is nothing set in stone, and we can always go back and add new attendees in the same way, or remove people who we've added to this session over on the right hand side and resubmit the register. Now let's go back to our session list. As we can see, our submitted register now has a green tick to show this session has been submitted. As mentioned, when adding a single register, another option is to copy attendees from another register. We can choose the activity and sessions we wish to copy these attendees from, and if we copy across the attendees from our previous session, we will now see that the same attendees are pulled through onto this current register. We can still choose to add or remove participants at this stage.